Hi everybody, I'm Okram Kunjosing, and today I'm going to study with you a very beautiful romantic poem, a sonnet written by P.B. Shelley. Before coming to the poem, the name of the poem is Ozymandias of Egypt, which is a very famous and the most anthologized poem in English literature. Yamna maming chatpa miyamna yamna tamnaba nainaba hanjan nainaba sailing amakakni ko khigi P.B. Shelley gi Ozymandias of Egypt haibase. Adu sailing si lactrican's da before coming to the poem, let's know a little bit about the poet P.B. Shelley. He was a romantic poet and a revolutionary idealist, born in Sussex, England on 4th August. August ki tang mari August ki tang mari 1792 da England da pokiba adugumba yamna maming chatpa poet amakhakni yamna hawena su lekide chahi kumapan katangai rika darima lekide bas. He was a romantic poet, a revolutionary idealist, and an atheist. Very important point. Like he was the eldest son of Sir Timothy Shelley, a Sussex landowner. He had 4 younger sisters and a much younger brother. He received his early education at home. He studied at Eton College and later at Oxford University. He wrote many short stories, essays, poems, out of which the best known are Ozymandias of Egypt, the poem which we are going to study today, or To the West Wind, Prometheus Unbound, to name just a few. He died on 8 July 1822 at the age of 29. He was drowned while sailing near Spezia, Italy. Spezia haiba mafam amada koigi hi hola chatlinga hi Iraq naraga sikhibani. Yamna maming chatkibe ingrazigi poet amakhangni ma lekidabasi English literature gi oina yamna mangzaba amakhangni ko. Okay, hauji ekoina poet sigi maramda khangabanina makha tarakpada saying sigi maramda ekoi khasiktang amuktang hana haipatang brief introduction ma pige. Hannes Hagre, Ozymandias of Egypt, is one of the most popular poems written by P.B. Shelley. It is a sonnet written in 1817 and first published in the Examiner in 1818. The Examiner and the form of publication, the 1818 the form kiba, 1817 the e-kiba, sonnet namakani. Sonnet have a sigum the Nakohana Taramagani. You must have heard about the word sonnet. Amutanga remind again memory the refresh toge. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. Paring tara marigi sering niko. Paring tara marina iba sering kodimak sonnet ni hena ko weadri. Every poem of 14 lines cannot be called a sonnet. Sonnet ka weadri. Akoi paring kodimak se. Each and every line each should have 10 syllables each. Syllable tara trans hagadawani, and the lines must be arranged in a particular rhyming pattern. Akoigi saying the paring sing the particular rhyme scheme amada arrange tagodabani ko. Sonnet se horakumatam dadi 13th century da kharagar horaga 14th century da Italy da yam satina akoi popularized okiba perfection purakiba dum art form khangni horakpadabadi nupini yadaba rejected lovers singna iramba sairengni konathang dadi England da yorok matam da maroina particularly William Shakespeare gi makote rokandadi it became a beautiful work of art weraki aduga themes a variety themes da life ki maramda time ki maramda friendship ki maramda am irami Ozymandias of Egypt haibasimaksu sonnet amakhakni the magi sonnet si sonnet haudomba Italy mayam maming am chaliva father of sonnet sai khangnariva Petrarch hairiba Petrarch and sonnet ki model ga Shakespeare and sonnet ki model ga anigi akoigi blend tawraga iba makhalni model di Petrarch and sonnet ki model di max yaurisi haidi magi saying six da ahanbagi first 8 lines ama yawgani madu octave ana kawi aduga next 6 lines ama yawgani aduna sextet ana kawani anisida mana idea ama pigani aduga complete idea ama very powerful packed over idea ama supina phonagani. This particular sonnet is about the ruins of a statue of Ozymandias. Ozymandias ka bunupa magi murti ate akai da based or iba sonnet ni sig sonnet. Ozymandias kanano. Who was Ozymandias? Ozymandias was the Greek name of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh called Ramses II. Ramses II na ikoi kano na Egypt na khangnaba adu Greek sinadi Ozymandias na ko bunupa ma khangni magi maram dani iduse. He ruled from 1279 BCE to 1213 BCE yamna kuina palamba England ko Egypt ki empire se semkat phona bada maming yam chatkiba one of the greatest emperors in history of Egypt ki history da yam sathina maming chatkiba ningthau amakha ki maram dani iris Magi warisi my statue Saramimana while he was alive he built many temples and one particular statue of his own life size figure Magi life size figure hai tare life size on one sense Magi kenodagi Magi masak tu lora kanda kharena chawba akogi murti makhak mana sahalam actually the statue of Ozymandias was nearly 57 feet high feet yang khai taret wangi ko Magi's original statue ja it's worth mentioning here that Shelley wrote this poem in competition with his friend Horace Smith, who primarily gave this poem the same name, Ozymandias, and published that in the same magazine. Masimay mabanda ba magalay. Makoy ni maksa tawbadi wari makak paaro badagi manan inspire taw min rakibani adaga mamana ba siga maga competition da inakibani. May mamana ba dugi saying Ozymandias adum kawi Horace Smith ay mamana ba sini ibani adugi saying so adubu sige Shelley gi saying sina hena koy artistic oy ba aduga hena matik magul lay hen ba hagadra masina hena long lasting oi hori ngasi ba leiri amadugi saying tudi matam du adum maming du tanaraga Russian ki ba saying ni Hannes Hager actually this sonnet got its content from the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus saiba Greek power ancient historian namakakna iramba wari makakta who wrote about a massive Egyptian statue quoting the inscription I am Ozymandias king of kings under it Hoziki Egyptian Greek historian namakakna Egyptian statue maka uruba hairiba statue dugi makhong da magi pedestal du iramba ai ne Ozymandias I am the king of kings and tharamba Egyptian statue maka kimadam da iramba historian namagi wari paro kandani sereng inspiration lakibase so Diodorus his works served as the source of the poem sereng source man oibani adubu kanaguma kharna some critics some analysts said that the poem was also inspired by the rise and the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. Matamdigi France ki yamna fauba akogi dictator hagadra ruler hagadra Napoleon Bonaparte ki rise and the fall sudden rise and the fall of his power magi punsigi amuk kakalakpa amuk nemdarakpa laikiba khangawdana kakalakiba phawgalakiba khangawdana loisinkiba magi punsidu based oba adugum inspiration phangkiba saying amani hainasu mayam haini. Okay, so having known a little bit about the poem and the poet and about the title Ozymandias. Ozymandias he was a great Egyptian ruler, one of the greatest. At the magi mamingze Egyptians in the King Ramses II and hainabani at the Greek masazing namabu Ozymandias haina kobani ko. Mamingze lam ki kenda basulay dana ko. Kamitay simbu asungga kanda Burmese na kate haiba adumaina. Egyptian sing na mabu Ramses na kawi adu Greek masasing na mabu koigi Ozymandias na korami. Now saying the park the first reading the weko. Poets na I met a traveler from an antique lane who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and the wrinkled leaf and the sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those patience read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the hurt that fed. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and the bare, the lone and the level sands stretch far away. Now this is the full poem. Now let us have a detailed line-by-line analysis of the poem. The poet, here you will find three speakers. You will hear the voice of three speakers. The first one is the voice of Shelley. Shelley na haidane, I met a traveler from an antique lane who said. Now who said hashidagi laani? From this you will hear the voice of a second speaker, that is the narrator. Mai khozeldagi wari sita dune koina. Aduna Celine Heidi. I met a traveler from an antique lane who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. A traveler. The story is not told by, the poem is not a story told by or narrated by B.B. Shelley himself. It is a story told him by another narrator, a second person narrator. Here, Shelley is using a very, very beautiful poetic technique. He actually had never visited Egypt, so he imagined that a traveler described the scene to him. This is the traveler. And from an antique land, antique means an old or ancient thing. The antique land here refers to Egypt, which has a very ancient civilization. The traveler said that he saw two big trunkless legs. Trunkless means legs without the upper body or torso. Makhong katangay ba mathak ki saruk yaudaba akogi murti gi khong anikha aina desert ki lengoi marakta aina urami sini kamaisa. Near them on the sand, half sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and the wrinkled lip and a sneer of cold command. Sibateksing ay hayiko. Fabs the sunk has half sunk means half buried. Shattered means broken into pieces. Visage means face. Near the two legs, makong ani digi manakta on the sand, lengoi marakta, half sunk, half buried. Pumzilakanda. A shattered visage lies. Akai ba mamayam ta leibako. Hairi ba mamay the three characteristics yauri. Madadi frown nama, whose frown and the wrinkled leaf and a sneer of cold command. Frown is an expression of anger or displeasure. Wrinkle means marks or lines or folds or twisted. Wrinkled lips means twisted lips. And a sneer is a facial expression of scorn or hostility in which the upper lip may be raised. And the cold command has a command without feeling of others, a very cruel command. The poet says, I met a traveler from an antique land who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert, and near them on the sand half sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and a wrinkled lip and a sneer of cold command tell that each sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that faith. Hoziki muti dugi mamai akaiba mamai du yauriba, magi frown, magi wrinkled lips, and magi sneer of cold command duna hairiba. Kari hairi that the sculptor means the artist who makes sculptures. Muti sabanupaduna. Well, very well, those patients read. Murti Sabanupasina, he could read, he could interpret, or he could understand. He could read. Man read is those patients. Patients are powerful emotions, and here it refers to the expressions of the king's face, indicating of his cruel feelings. Tamtiba nupado, tamtiba ning taudugi, magi machat, magi thamui to the yauriba. Magi asing my character do. Madu makana no se murti sabanu paduna masak pasana khangame. Aduga hairiba magi wrinkled lips, magi frowning face, aduga magi sneer of cold command. Mayam se they survive. Makumyam to hingduna lady. Stamped on these lifeless things. Stamped means here printed or engraved or sculptured. Ya makois do haktra thanameba. On the lifeless things, nungduda, thawai pandaba, nungduda haktuna thanameba. Karina, the hand that mocked them. The hand that mocked them means the hand of the sculptor that imitated the expressions of Ozymandias. Mocked means to copy something. And the heart that faith. The heart that faith means the heart of Ozymandias nurtured hatred and cruelty. Matamduda, in those ancient days, a very powerful king and emperor must be a very cruel person. Aduna, how's it? Matexigi, sir, English explain to the poet met a traveler who came from an ancient land. He narrated the poet that he saw the remains of a statue in the desert. Two huge legs made of stone stood in the desert sand, and the remaining part of the statue, the upper body, was missing. Another part of the statue, the face, lay half sunk on the sand nearby. It was damaged and broken into pieces. The face of the statue had a wrinkled lip, expressing cruel and cold-blooded nature and a scornful smile. The poet says that the sculptor who had made the statue could read the expressions on the Egyptian king's face very well, and he understood them. He understood the king's cruel nature. So he was able to copy them onto his statue so accurately. These expressions continued to exist even after the king's death through this lifeless statue. The sculptor's hands copied the king's ruthless expressions and mocked at them, while the king's stone heart nourished those expressions on his face. Poets na hairi ko, ay may telo dum haige. Malam bichat panupa lam koi panupa ma thai na ki leader baliba ama dagi means Egypt dagi lam koi panupa ma thangnei Egypt ke lam koi panupa sina kabi sida harami madudi desert ta marubhumi da lengoi marakta mana khongani ka chaw khongani ka lerame hai khongani dagi matak thang basuk tu yaudre hai upper body was missing. Aduga khong dagi manakta da mamai ma tangkhai ma lup khogi keno da lenung da phumjelaga mamai ma talai mamai da yamna tamthiba masak ama machimban ga khigatlaga adi kariem na minok mi uste ba minok molorina mamai da tari mami da tari adu poets na haise kaino bu murti sabu nupadana Ozymandias kanano haise phasana khangaga mana Ozymandias ki mamai da magi thamoi do mami ta halame haba layak panupa mana murti sabu nupa mana magi murti do phasana mai pakna sagi hai tardi mana sari panupa do character do phasana understand to bong changi so murti sabu nupa dana Ozymandias ki character phasana understand tarami madumak mana magi mamai do phongdo ami haba. The sculptor's hands copied the king's ruthless expressions. Mana ningthaudugi minungsi leitaba magi machat to kogi matau tamami aduga he mocked them, his hands mocked them. Magi makutna kariyam narami means matau tamami aduga matau tamize kanagino thamoi dugi karamba thamoi minungsi leitaba thamoi the heart that fed those passions adugum laba tamthiba pukningi wakal singdubu yoktuna thamliba thamoi dubu puriba maithong do fazana mami ta halaga thanami haba kogi Ozymandias ki murti je murti sabanu padana. Now this is the octave of the poem. Hose haige sereng zigi pareng nipan duniko. Now come to the sextet. Sextet among lakse bako. And on the pedestal these words appear. Pedestal haidi the base of the statue murti digi makhong du duniko. Adai the asumna wahikar irame. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and the despair. Aine Ozymandias haise. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works. Aina tari batabak sing di yango. Ye mighty. Ye means plural form of you, niko poetic form da ibani nakoi habako. Ye mighty haisida ma haisi matamdugi mareng mamanaba matamdu parliament ning thousand the man challenge story se. Matam punam noi sakti le haisari punamak aingon da yangzo. Look upon my works. Aina kai tawgezi yangamo yangzo and despair aduga ningba kaizo. Ozymandias ki pride magi napal se yangobako. Matam dulu riba ningtau kuti maktane ma haise mai murti ma sai aseng bagini mana real incident ni ko se zaman sali ni murti di makhong iri ne mana. On the pedestal of the statue he wrote these words, my name is Ozymandias, I am the King of Kings and ye powerful kings of my time, just look at my achievements and if you dare I challenge you. Noi nang magadi ay na kwede challenge story sine ba khangbra, try to equal with my achievements. Aina tori baza siga mananda ba mutam khona ba ngambrengo and they will despair. Noining ba kai kin heaven. Despair means to feel disappointed. Ozymandias is asking the other kings to despair because they cannot hope to equal him in his achievements. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and the bare, the lone and the level sands stretch far away. Howzik Ozymandias ki murti phazabado chawdo te lere bakhong do te mangak bakok do mamai do ling do phumjela ta kai phumjel lere phangkhong duma lady pedestal duma mani irama wai sin do lady aduga atai did nothing beside remains came to later round the decay of that colossal wreck, colossal decay, broken pieces of the statue ni ko ati akai me am do gimarakta of the colossal wreck. Colossal means huge, extremely large or great. Achoba ati akai tari me am do gimanakta there's nothing except boundless in the bare, the lone and the level saints, which stretches far away. Without limits. Boundless means without limits. Bare, without anything significant. The lone and level sense stretches far away. Lingway gilamdo powbada chai toga lakri. Karisu lehodre hoziki ate akai to gibanakta. Aduga lehodi badi namkaili tena sandokriba lingway singdu katamangaire. Hai basida. Ko. At the base of the statue, the words, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty and despair, were engraved." Iramini foundation to the pedestal to the Aine Ozymandias, Aine Ningtau Punamakin Taurel. Aine to with Tabaxing look upon my works, ye mighty and despair. Hi Nico. The king introduced himself as Ozymandias, the most powerful king. He challenged all the powerful kings of the world to look at his achievements and feel despair. The poet says that after this, the poet says that now nothing else other than this engraving remains. The statue broke down with the passage of time. And its broken pieces could be seen lying around. The statue of the great king Ozymandias was nowhere to be seen. Ozymandias ari ba phawbun padagi muti dusu leitre bani bako muti dusu broken oira bani. What can be seen is only the boundless and the limitless sands of the desert. Marubhumi ge lingway sing du nebako uris. And here comes the final words from the traveler. Matang soidani lamkoi bunu pasna last and harisiko on how there's nothing except those ruins and the sands all around. Akoi budratia kai ga lingway natana kaimle trahari. The colossal wreck hints at a gigantic statue, and the high flying patience attached to it are all dusted now. Hoziki akoibada leiriba tekai riba mayamduna hairi madadi murti masadusu aduga matamdugi murti duga loina ramba magi high flying patience mapangan kallaba magi puningi hul asawbagi tukutchabagi tamthibagi mayamdusu loina mangkre hozikti. The boundless and the bare and the lone level signs stretching away, far away, symbolize the vastness of time. Aduga lengoiduna sandokriba lengoiduna kari taiba matamgi kongset matamgi ngamkhili tam matau sta inebako. So sayings the hiding is the ultimately sayings the hiding is the we the human beings are very little creatures. Miwe kwese. Akwese kashuli taba amna paji basing nebe kwese. But within our time, we enjoy. We are made with power, intoxicated with unlimited power, political power. Pai hedna mimiams the mukna riba, chauna riba, pongna riba. Our pride ultimately our pride and might will eventually disappear. Napal mankini, kugi sakti mankini, pangal mankini, with the passage of time. Matamna satki bagaloina kudim manki. But what remains is the immortality of a work of art. Lemahugudoribadi kalagi pasaba pasak tu nebal heudes. Kudimak mangkre adabu kalakar dugi murti sabanupa dugi magi art to the lehauri. So the last lines of the poem suggest the eternity, suggests the central theme of the sonnet, which says all our human achievements, all our pride, all our greatness will disappear, but everything will be destroyed by time. But a work of art will never die. Art kiba posak ama hebesidi mang balite masidi matam padamaki adum lehogani haibesini ko aduna sayings na hining ise mi begin apple versus time aduga akogi mi begin apple ga time ga ni mukna ba aduga loirek pada makata na lehogadabana kalagi phajaba ayek palai ma ayek murti ma phajaba sai ma a work of art haibese masimadi mang dana lehogani haibaduni ko sayings na hining ise. So with this I conclude the poem. Okay, thank you. You enjoyed the poem. I think you enjoyed the poem.